Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Shankly Sessions, the Liverpool podcast we bring you each and every week on the upper tier out there on YouTube. If you could smash that subscribe and bell notification and drop a like on the video. This is your match reaction. Arsenal 3, Liverpool 2. First of all, congratulations to Arsenal on breaking their duck and going top of the table again. A really steely performance from them. And I suppose at times in the game we matched them as well, where we had a bit of control in the game. But a very peculiar second half from us. But let's start with the match reaction. First of all, Liverpool went in unchanged from the win against Rangers. This was the team that they went in with. That kind of reaped benefits against Rangers and gave us that bit of control. But obviously we knew going in that it would be difficult because Arsenal are a much better team and a level above Rangers. Morris in the comments here. Don't hit me too hard now, Morris. The Tomiyasu gamble worked. He pocketed Salah. What's become of this great Liverpool side? We're going to get into it, Morris. We're going to get into it. Don't worry. Do you know something? If there had been no one out there, they would have pocketed Salah today. As the thumbnail says, the man has become a passenger. But we'll get into it anyway. Interesting, as Morris said there, Tomiyasu was the gamble in there for Tierney, was the change for the Gunners. And it was an interesting choice and one that we looked at. And we said maybe Salah could get a bit of joy in there, but unfortunately not. But again, we come out, we're not on it, we're not focused, bit lackluster, and again we give up the early goal again. Go behind early, minute 1, Martinelli with the goal, Odegaard with the assist. I was on a couple of shows this week and I mentioned how vital Martin Odegaard is to the team and that he's the one that we forget to pick up. He's the one that isn't spoken about enough because he goes quietly about his business and everyone's going to talk about Martinelli and Saka and Jesus and all that, and he's the man who crops up with the assist for Martinelli. What I was shocked at on 6 minutes was when Arsenal got this break with Martinelli and himself and Diaz were going at it up the wing there. The pace that Martinelli had, even compared to Diaz, and we know how fast Diaz is, but Martinelli left him for dead. Diaz picking up the early booking. I have to say, in that first half, at times our passing was woeful and so wasteful in possession. I don't know what Van Dijk was doing today. He was trying to play these long diagonal balls that he sometimes plays, but he was just kicking the ball straight up the centre of the pitch and just going straight through to Ramsdale or giving up possession to Arsenal. And that was in case for so many players today around the park, just giving up possession so easy, time and time and time again. Kane's in the comments here. How are you, Kane? Spineless yet again. Diaz injury looks a bad one. Left the stadium on crutches and in a knee brace. Salah down and Aubameyang ever since the new contract. Useless. Absolutely. An absolute passenger today, Kane. He was. Absolutely had no impact on the game. A matter of fact, after 50 minutes, I was wondering whether he was even picked to play and stuff like that. And he should have been hooked at half time. Simply just not putting in the work anymore. To be honest with you, only for Alisson as well. And I've said this a couple of times, only for we have Alisson in our team, we'd be bottom half and lower bottom half. Really, really poor we are at the moment. 14 minutes in, we had a big shout for a penalty. It was waved away. But again, here we are again, constantly relying on getting the decision or constantly relying on a bit of luck going our way to kind of get through these kind of things where we should be just at it. We should be about it. We should be coming onto these teams, playing really, really strong, relying on our own play and the quality of the players we have to get through matches and stuff like that, instead of saying, we were hard done by that penalty decision or we were hard done by that free kick. And again, as Keane said in the thing, no press at all. Morris is saying there, no press in the front three at all. They haven't been pressing all season, Morris. Haven't been pressing all season. And it's weird. It just looks so disjointed as well. I don't know, because I think because he's going back into that formation and stuff with Núñez at the tip as well, I don't think the three boys behind him, I don't think they're trying to play the press because Núñez is the furthest forward. He was caught offside a number of times today as well, playing on the shoulder of players and just going a little bit too quick. I do have to say as well, at times in the first half, Diaz had a chance to play him in. He made some really, really nice runs and Diaz checked back in and back around, playing the ball back into the middle again. So I think that sort of understanding between Diaz and the hologram out on the other side who just doesn't show up these days, and Nunes in the middle. I think it will bear fruit, but they just have to get a bit more of an understanding with each other. I think a number of times Diaz could have put balls around the side there into Nunes, and it might have bared a bit more fruit. But it was good seeing Nunes get the goals. Of course, let's talk about the goals. Martinelli in the first minute, of course. Saka with the penalty at the death of the first half, which was just terrible for us, and then on 76, Saka with the goal. Saka with the goal on 45 plus 5 at the back post, and then the penalty on 76 after Thiago tried to clear the ball but kicked Jesus in the calf. Nunes with the goal on 34, and Firmino with the goal on 53. Firmino getting his usual goal against Arsenal, of course. Again, just, in 30 minutes, we looked like we had a lot of control in the game and stuff like that. We were holding the possession and stuff like that. But again, a lot of possession, but not penetrative and stuff like that, and not looking for what we're doing in the final third of the game and stuff like that. 33 minutes, speculative ball from Trent. Diaz with the control to split the defence. Nunes with the finish, 1-1 game on. It was a really nice kind of team goal. I know the ball kind of felt him and stuff like that, but that movement inside and then to play the ball square to Nunes, I thought was a really good team goal. But I looked at us at times, even in possession of the ball, we're way too slow to release the pass. It's like as if we spoke about the other night. The confidence isn't there to just play the ball in, zip the ball on, and move the ball much quicker. We're moving the ball way too slow. The amount of times today we had the ball and we were kind of caught in possession, not good. 49 minutes, Saka with the finish from a breakaway after being in control of the game. Trent again gets sent for his shopping by Martinelli. I don't know what he was doing. I thought Trent was just going to keep on running over to the crowd and sign an autograph for someone. I don't know what the boys' thinking was at all. And safe to say he got hooked at half time. But 2-1 at half time, huge half coming up for Liverpool. There was. I mean, we had to find a way to get back into the game. Possession in that first half, 38-62 for Liverpool. Shots 3-5 Liverpool. Corners 5-1 Liverpool. And offsides 1-5 Liverpool. But it's just those stats. You look at it again there, 5 corners and very little from it and stuff like that. But the game teetered on the edge and stuff like that. And at times it was a real battle in there. I think at times we really lost that midfield battle. And that's when I think Arsenal took control of the game. You'll see it in the second half. 52 minutes, a beautiful ball from Jota splits the Arsenal defence. Firmino with the goal as usual. 2-2 game on. We were back in the game again. Then all of a sudden, we just sort of drift back. We go back and we go deep right onto our own 18-yard line, stuff like that. We invite Arsenal on. It was like as if we were trying to invite Arsenal on to play a counter or something like that. But they absolutely battered us back there, coming onto us like crazy, Arsenal back in the game, taking control of the game, moving the ball around, creating chances. And we just looked lost. I have to say at halftime as well, Gomez came on for Trent. Not surprising at this stage. And I don't know whether he was overly better, to be honest, in terms of at times he just seems to get caught and stuff like that. And he definitely doesn't have that pace anymore. Xhaka with a chance. That ball that broke through to him, unlucky ball went over. Very lucky for Liverpool. Jesus came back from injury and stuff like that, got a nasty head injury and stuff like that. I always have to be careful with those ones. And Arsenal again were in control of the game, took control of the game in that second half once we had equalised. It was like we had equalised and forgotten what to do, you know what I mean? Just lost total control. The whole thing was sporadic all over the place. Matip today I was quite disappointed in, didn't really offer up much in the game and stuff like that. Normally takes the ball out and tries something new. And tries to bring that ball out and play that penetrative pass and stuff like that. Did none of that today. Salah today, the thumbnail says it all, an absolute passenger today, did absolutely nothing in the game. Nothing in the game. And the protection that's afforded of this guy, he signed a new contract, and it's now he's taking the absolute piss. The amount of balls that were played out to that side today, and he doesn't even challenge for them. He doesn't even bother challenging from. He sits back and looks at the ball, slides straight into the defender, and does nothing. Doesn't challenge for the ball, runs away from the ball. The money's getting paid. He sat back and he held us over a barrel for over a year in relation to his contract. He got the contract that he wanted, and he is doing absolutely nothing. Aubameyang part 2. Aubameyang part 2, and there it's out there. I don't care, Reds, light it up as much as you want. He's absolutely shocking, and it has to be called on it. Um, Again, we were so deep, 68 minutes. Kanate replaces Joel Matip and Fabinho replaces Salah. I wasn't too sure on what that Fabinho for Salah switch was. I understood, obviously, Joel not being in the game as much, bring on Kanate. Obviously, he's back now. And in fairness, looking at the tail end of last season, stuff like that, he looks like he's our best central defender. And that says a lot considering we've Virgil van Dijk. But I didn't understand the Fabinho one for Salah. It was like a change of formation, but it didn't work because Arsenal came on heaps and bounds. The goal was coming. I said we were so deep, it was unreal. 73 minutes penalty, as I mentioned. Thiago with the kick on Jesus. Um, Look, it's in hindsight, it's easy to argue with some of these decisions and stuff like that. It is a penalty. You could argue in the first half that the handball was a penalty for us as well. But look, it's one of those things. We're not going to dwell on those things. We're not like, you know, unlucky FC or something like that, you know what I mean? 79 minutes, Elliot comes on for Jota, but Arsenal are in full control of the game. Elliot, I like the boy Elliot and stuff like that. He's slick at times with passing and moving and stuff like that, but I'm not sure whether he has that physicality to stand up to some teams and stuff like that. You see him out there, and just compared to the likes of, when you see the likes of Gabriel or Saliba or Xhaka or Partey, he's relying on this kind of slick sort of movement and passing to get around the fact that he doesn't have the physicality. He's taking off the ball so easy. Um, but of course, Saka steps up and gets his second goal of the game, tucks the penalty away. Alisson guessed right, just unlucky with the power of the penalty. He couldn't do anything to stop it. Again, it just runs out of the feed again. And what it really means for us now, we are in serious trouble. And first of all, I thought that we might be able to get into some sort of a title race if we picked up the win today. Now it looks like it's going to be a struggle to even get into a top four race. We could be staring down Reds, and I'm going to say this to you now. We could be staring down the barrel of potentially Thursday night football next season. And if that's the case, we won't have to worry about signing Jude Bellingham. We won't have to worry about signing Nicola Barella. We won't have to worry about signing any of those players, because none of those players are going to come to us if we're playing Thursday night football. Not a chance. Looking at the table there now, just have a glaring look at that now. 8 games played, 8 goal difference, 10 points. The team that we pumped 9-0 are 2 points ahead of us, Bournemouth. Just have a look at the team. Just have a look at the teams that are ahead of us. Fulham are ahead of us by a point. Everton at the end of tonight could be ahead of us by 3 points, potentially. So bad. So bad. And really unacceptable in terms of confidence, in terms of attitude, in terms of aptitude, in terms of effort, in terms of leadership. Again, we have to speak about that again today. Leadership. Not an ounce of leadership on the pitch today. None. Absolutely none. You've got Jordan Henderson getting caught up in all sorts of stupid stuff. Where's the leadership today? Where's the leadership at the back? Where's the Virgil van Dijk talking to his line again and marshalling his line? Nothing. They're all sailing their own ship at the moment, and we look as far away from being a team as possible. And now we're in serious trouble looking at that table. We're now 14 points. Let that sink in, people. The start of October, 14 points behind Arsenal. Shocking. Let's get into the player ratings. This is going to be interesting. Always good fun, isn't it? Player ratings. Start off with Alisson. I gave him a 6. I don't think there's any more he could do today. I think without him, I think we'd be lost, and certainly we'd be lower half. But I gave him a 6 today. Trent, I gave a 4 to, probably being generous. Just I don't know what it is. I don't know how you resolve this situation. It's just week after week after week. Matip and Van Dijk, I gave both 4s to. I don't think they looked very much in control. I think at times they were too far apart as well. They weren't operating in tandem in that pair that they normally do. At times it was very disjointed. You had Matip sometimes up the pitch, Van Dijk being exposed on his own. And I just think both of them today were just... I just don't think they're at it at the moment. I think there's just an issue there, and yeah, it's just I can't put my finger on it with both of them. Normally they're so solid for us, but Matip today really offered up very little. And Van Dijk, and I'm not sure. Maybe it's because they were covering or something like that. Maybe with Martinelli out there and stuff like that, they had to go out and cover and stuff like that. But still, just not really giving us what we want. Costas, I gave a 6 to. Always brings that energy, always trying, always getting stuck in, and again without knowing that the flag was going to go up, he cleared that ball off the line again, similar to what he did against Rangers the other night. So he's always trying, he's always aware and stuff like that. Brings a certain amount of energy, but again, I think that link up between himself, Thiago, and Diaz, I think it still needs to be worked on a little bit more. I think at times when we get into that final third, we don't believe in ourselves in terms of what we can do, and we're checking back in again, checking back in again. I don't know how many times I've seen us going down that wing with the ball and cutting back in, back into Thiago, back into Hendo, back across. And when you're going across the other side, and we're going to get into it, when you go across the other side, nothing at all is being offered up at the moment. Doesn't challenge for a ball, can't hang on to a ball, doesn't know how to pick out a player. Needless shots from terrible angles when there's players in the box. Just totally awful altogether. Hendo I give a 5 to today, and Thiago I give a 5 to. I think Thiago, especially first half, was a little bit wasteful with his passing, which is very unusual with Thiago. Normally has a very high percentage passing rate. But today I just thought there was, I don't know whether it was his passing was poor or we just weren't in tune with what he was trying to do. And we spoke about this before, especially with the boy Nunez up front as well. At times he makes some fantastic runs, but I just don't think we're in tune with him. We haven't figured it out yet. I thought that today with Thiago a little bit as well. So I gave him a 5. Just wasn't really on it today, the midfield. And I did preface that in the preview by saying that the midfield could be where the battle is won and lost. So expected a bit more from the two boys there in the middle of the park. Salah I gave a 3 to. I just don't think he was in the game at all. I rarely heard him mentioned any ball that went out to him. I don't think he won a single ball that was played out to him. And offered up nothing. I think there was a couple of times where he broke with the ball and stuff like that. And instead of picking out a player in the box, he went from a shot for a bad angle. When he could be picking out a player, just poor choices and stuff like that. But just very, very nonchalant. No real energy. Definitely is way off the pace in terms of where he was before. So very, very disappointing. Jota I gave a 6 to. He's always kind of in around the hassle and trying to do stuff and things like that. But again, because it's so disjointed, just doesn't really deliver on some of the things that he could normally do. But again, 6 for Jota today. He certainly puts in a shift. And again, Bobby came on when Diaz got the injury and he was shifted out. Diaz I gave a 7 to. He does bring the energy, even though today he was going to target it and he got taken out of the game a couple of times, and obviously went off with that injury, and it doesn't look good now. He left the stadium on crutches with a brace on his knee, which is a really bad sign. My guess is he might be gone now until the return from the World Cup, which is very, very sad because he's been one of our shining lights this season. If we have to pick out any, it's himself and Allison, really. And then Nunez up front, of course, gets his goal, was delighted to get his goal. I would tone down a little bit on the celebration, a little bit, because I don't think there's anything for us to be really celebrating this season so far. What I would do is I would take my goal and I would get on with my business. But I gave him a 7. It was good to see him go on the score sheet. He did make some really, really nice runs today. But for one reason or another, both boys on the flanks are just checking back inside. They're not putting the balls into the danger area where he's making the runs. Again, I think with some of his runs where he's going offside, I don't think he needs to go as quick because I think he has the pace and the intelligence in terms of taking on defences. But he just goes a little bit too early and gets caught offside a lot. But there was a number of occasions, especially first half, as I said, with Diaz, where he was running the ball down the flank and he could have put the ball into the box, into the danger for Nunez. And you could see Nunez was getting frustrated some of the runs that he made and the balls weren't just coming in from him. But that's something that we can work on. This has been your player ratings. Let me know what you think about the ratings. And of course, drop your ratings into the comments as well. But yeah, it was another tough day at the office. More work for Klopp to do. But bad news this week now, obviously, with Arthur Mello being out injured as well, and obviously losing Diaz now as well is a big loss. And just when we think we're trying to get a bit of a formation together, now we're losing the manpower that we need to put it out there. I just wanted to mention our thoughts and prayers are going out with the people who passed away and have been affected by the explosion up in Donegal. But I wanted to do a special mention for um, where is it? Hang on now. I want to find this because it's really important to me. Um, yeah, one of the victims of Donegal is a girl called Leona Harper, and she was due to watch the game with her dad today, who's an Arsenal fan, and she lost her life. Unfortunately, she was a big Liverpool fan, so we'd like to mention to Leona Harper as well, and our thoughts and prayers go out to, of course, all the people involved who have been affected by it, but also this girl as well, who was a true and true red, and her dad as well, who was a gooner. So yeah, on this day kind of thing, So it puts everything in perspective as well, where we get we get down and we get upset about our football and stuff like that. But when you see situations like this, it puts everything in perspective, and it's heartbreaking. So we said we'd mention it. We will be back tomorrow night on the Monday mashup. Where we will be reviewing all the Premier League action, and we'll be previewing the Champions League and talking about the latest football headlines as well, including those tweets today from Iker Casillas and Puyol. I don't know what people made of them. Absolute madness going on at the moment. I also will be on the Three in Midfield podcast tomorrow evening at 6:30. I'm sure the boys are going to be giving me a right grilling about the Arsenal game. But sure, look, we don't hide away. We're Liverpool fans. We take it on the chin, and we will talk to you again real soon. Cheers, folks. Thanks to everyone in the comments.